king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you should definitely subscribe. I upload every other day college, lifestyle, and Disney videos. Today's a really exciting video because I'm going to be talking about my application process and like what the application process looks like for the Disney college program, how my application process went for applying for fall 2018 and spring 2019, and just like little tips and tricks that I have from the 2 times that I've applied already. If you already know about the application process, you can go ahead and skip to this time because the first part of this is just going to be like explaining it to people that don't know about the Disney college program already. For those of you guys don't know, the Disney college program is a college program that Disney offers where you can either go to Disney World or Disneyland for 4 to 8 months at a time, and you basically work for them, do a job with them, like one of their basic level jobs. My role is hostess. It's considered Cedar in Disney World, and you basically work at one of the parks, resorts, and you get to live in the 4 apartment complexes that they provide. You pay about $100. It comes out of your paycheck each week, like around $100. You would like to take classes with them, you can. They provide classes, and they also do a lot of networking events that you can do. So for me, I want to work for Disney long term, so it's perfect for me. It's like the perfect segue into Disney. But if you don't want to work for Disney long term, it's really good to put on your resume. So like Disney's a huge, amazing company, and it's so huge, so saying that you worked for Disney, it looks really good on a resume. That's why a lot of people do it, and just for the experience of it. It's such a good experience from what I've heard and from what I've seen through other people vlogging, and so I'm really excited to do it, and it's just definitely a program to look into if you're in college. Honestly, I love college because if you think about it, there's so many opportunities in college that like I'm not gonna have time to just go 6 months and do like a cool program like the Disney college program like ever in my life. Like, you don't ever know what's gonna come up, but I think college is so cool because you can literally just up and go somewhere cool and do an awesome program that they offer just for college students. I think that's so cool. And like studying abroad and just like all that stuff. I could talk about it forever. This process was like kind of interesting because I've wanted to do the Disney college program since freshman year of high school, which sounds crazy because like to think that I've been wanting to do the Disney college program for 5 years, that's a long time. And like to think that that's been a dream in my mind and like it's finally happening, like that's kind of crazy. If you want to watch my DZP tag, I'll leave a link down below, but that talks a little bit more about my interest in it and like how I found out about it and stuff. But as soon as I found out about it, I knew I wanted to do it, and so I honestly was planning on doing it spring of sophomore year, like all throughout high school. I was like, all right, spring of sophomore year, that's whenever I'll do the Disney college program. But whenever I was a freshman, first semester freshman, I couldn't wait. And so I was like, I want to apply for spring 2018. And I fought with my parents on that. Like I would call them like crying, like please let me apply, like because my first semester wasn't the best, and so I was like, please let me apply, I just want to go. And they were like, no, you need to stay second semester because honestly I don't think you're gonna come back if you leave, because I did have an amazing experience first semester, but second semester it was beyond what I could have ever expected or imagined out of college. It's a really good thing that I stayed. And then I finally was able to apply for fall 2018. So whenever I was applying for that, I really wanted to get in for fall 2018. And so I filled out the whole application. I submitted it within like the first 2 hours. And whenever I submitted it, I'll explain this all in a second, but applied is kind of like what you wait in. So your application status will say applied, and I stayed in that status the whole season and then got a no longer in consideration email. How the application process works is you have the first kind of basic level application, so you just fill in like basic information, job experience, volunteer experience, just answering different questions about yourself, your background, your school, your year in school, just different stuff like that. The people in the Disney college program world, the people that have applied, the alumni, just everybody has kind of come to a consensus on that. I don't think that a real person checks your application. They can't, honestly, because if they have 50,000 applications coming in, there's no way that an actual person can review every single application. So I think it goes through a computer, and then maybe if it gets processed through that, then somebody will look at it. But I do think that they all go through a system and like an algorithm first. Nobody's really 100% sure how the algorithm works and like what keywords. There's certain keywords that if you say, it's like a more likely chance that you'll get in or whatever, like customers, calling them guests, and saying magical, courteous, just words like that, like Disney keywords. They call it the Disney keyword. So they say if you say words like that, it's more likely of a chance that you're gonna get through the computer. But then there's been a lot of times where people put them in all the time and then don't get any further than the first process of the application. That's what I did the first time. I used the keywords that I thought that I should use. It went through and I didn't get past the first round of applications. So for each of the roles, my high interest roles were like front desk, merchandise, cedar, actions, watercraft, just different stuff that you can put high interest for. And some of I didn't really put a lot of medium interest because I feel like it's better to either say I would or I wouldn't work this role. So I don't think I put any medium interest, but my low interests were custodial and housekeeping. I don't think I put anything else. Maybe children's activities, because like that does not seem fun to me. That, and maybe lifeguard I also put low interest for. Can put high interest or low interest or medium interest for all the different roles. So there's the application, the basic information that we just talked about. So if you get through that, if they're considering it, then your application status on the Disney College Program dashboard will say in consideration. So it will change from saying applied to in consideration. And if you pass through that round, then you'll get an email saying that you got a web-based interview. So whenever you get a web-based interview, that's basically like a personality test. It's not hard. Like for me, it was like I answered everything honestly, and I do think that it's smart to answer everything honestly, because if you're the type of person that's like, you don't like interacting with people, you don't really like working in teams, you don't like doing certain jobs, like I think that it's good to fill it out honestly, because that tells you if you should be working for Disney or not, because honestly not everybody can. And it's not even saying that some are like the people that can work for Disney are better than the ones that can't, but like literally sometimes your personality just doesn't go with it. So I feel like it's better to know before you go to Disney rather than like being there and be like, oh my gosh, I hate this. So I think that it's important to answer that honestly, but it is easy to see like what they would want you to put. It takes up maybe 15 to 20 minutes. You just answer all the personality questions, and then you'll find out right after the web-based interview if you went through or didn't go through. So if you did go through, then you'll receive an email to schedule a phone interview. So the phone interview, it's usually like 1 to 2 weeks after you take the web-based interview. That's usually whenever the next slot is for you to do a phone interview. So I scheduled my phone interview for like I think a week after the web-based interview. People say different things about it. You can prepare for your phone interview. They give you like a few things that they may ask, but then also you can go on any of the phone interview for Disney videos on YouTube or vlogs or anything like that, and a lot of people will talk about the different questions, and I'm gonna make a video about the phone interview and like how to do really well on the phone interview. My phone interview was 40 minutes long and it was really cool. She was awesome. We just talked back and forth about Disney, but you can prepare for it if you want to. A lot of people say don't over prepare. I basically just like kind of watched a few videos casually, just said okay, they may ask this, they may ask this, but they only ask a few questions that I found on other vlogs, and a lot of them were just like based on my experience. The biggest tips that I would say, just like briefly, not making a whole video on it, but just like briefly, I think that it's important to know why you want to work for Disney, what your previous work experience and volunteer experience has provided you with to be able to work for Disney. Know how you would handle guest conflict. So whenever you are doing your phone interview, they'll ask you about the roles that they're considering you for. For me, they asked me about cedar, merchandise, quick service food and beverage, photo pass photographer, and character performer. So those were the 5 roles that they asked me about. So I knew that I wasn't being considered for like front desk, which was my top role, or like attractions or anything like that, because I knew, because they were like interviewing me about those things, like how my work experiences would contribute to that. I've heard of people getting their top roles that were talked about in phone interviews, but I feel like that's very, very rare, because they're going to want to talk to you about the things they're considering you for. So this is the point where we got all the people back that skipped through the first part. So my experience with the application process was really weird, because so I'm a Christian and I was very prayerful about the whole process, because I didn't want to go during a time that I was supposed to like be in college, for example, like doing whatever, like I was just like, whatever's gonna happen, like whenever I get into the college program, it's gonna be the perfect time. First time, whenever my application was going through, you can even watch my video. I made a video on like rejected by Disney, and I applied, was stuck and applied the whole season. So I did the basic application, was stuck and applied the entire season, and then got no longer in consideration email. So I was like kind of upset about it. I was more upset towards the beginning because I didn't think I was gonna get moved on to the next level, but I was kind of just like, but like throughout I kind of like became okay with it. I was just like, okay, I probably won't get into the program, that's okay, like whatever. And so I was very like at peace with it, because I was like, you know, I just have a feeling that there's gonna be a purpose for me being at school fall 2018, and if I do get in for spring 2019, there's gonna be a reason behind that too. So it's just been like really cool to like, I've met so many people this semester that I didn't know before. I have like some of the best like freshmen on my hall that I would not have met if I hadn't been here. I've had some really like life-changing experiences. It sounds like so dramatic, but it's just like a lot of things have shaped me as a person being here this semester that I wouldn't have gotten if I was at Disney rather than being at school. I don't know if this was like a risky thing to do. I guess maybe it was, but I was just so confident. I was like, there's nothing wrong with this application. Like I just don't feel like there's anything wrong with this application. So whenever I applied for spring 2019, I didn't change anything because it auto-fills into your answers if you've already done it on the same computer before. So I literally just like went through, like just checked to make sure, but it was all the right information. Like I maybe updated my work experience because I worked another job this summer, but other than that, like I really didn't change anything because there wasn't a point to me, because I was like, this is good. I don't feel like this is wrong. I'm gonna send in the exact same application that I got denied with last time. So I sent in the same application, and with the same application that I got denied fall 2018, I got passed through all around spring 2019. So that to me tells me that there's like so many reasons why I'm at school like this fall, like so many more reasons even. Like it's October right now and I still have 2 months here, and I just feel every single day I just feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. What am I supposed to be here to do? Like what am I supposed to do today that's gonna be another reason why I'm supposed to be here this semester? And then next semester being at Disney, those are people that I probably wouldn't have met if I came fall 2018. Those are experiences that I can have that I may not have had fall 2018. I just like see everything as like there was a purpose behind it because of that. Because with the exact same application that I got denied the first time, I got accepted the second time. So that kind of also says that sometimes it's not you. Like if you don't get in, I also think that it may be because I was a freshman last year. This year I'm a sophomore. They tend to accept people more so if they're older than if they're like freshmen, because freshmen you have the whole rest of college to apply for the college program, but I think that they tend to look at seniors more so because that's like the only time that they can get in. So that was the basic application process. I literally just auto-filled it all and then got through the next round. So it was probably like a month or two after I had been and applied. I checked back at my dashboard and it said in consideration, but I didn't really think twice about it because I was just like, you know what, like I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm just gonna enjoy this. If I get in, that's great. If not, it's fine too. But then I was having a really bad week. I woke up and I was getting ready for the day, but then I got a text that said, congratulations, you're moved on to a web-based interview, check your email. So then I checked my email, and I was like crying whenever this was happening because I had never gotten that far before. My roommate was up there, she's like, what's happening, what's happening? I was like, I just got a web-based interview. And I don't think a lot of people knew exactly how exciting it was, because a lot of times if you get a web-based interview, if you have a personality for Disney, it usually carries over too, and a lot of times you pass both the web-based interview and the phone interview. So I personally think the hardest part to pass is the application, because it's not necessarily a you thing. Sometimes it's just that you send in the application at a wrong time. Whenever everybody else was sending it in, it may have got stuck computer, or it may just be because of your year in school. Like there's a lot of different aspects aren't like you, but just the system in general. So I think that that's personally the hardest part to get past. But I was excited because I was like, oh my gosh, like I may actually have a chance of getting in. So I sent in, I did my web-based interview. It took me like 15 minutes. It was basically just questions like kind of like how you work with other people, how you work as a team, like how you deal with leadership, how you deal with conflicts, like just different stuff like that. So I just answered it all honestly. I said a lot of them out loud to my roommate because sometimes other people know you better than you know yourself, and so I feel like sometimes my roommate like would know how I'd respond to things more so than I personally would think that I respond to things. So some of them I said out loud, and then like she like helped me with it. And then as soon as I did the web-based interview, I sent it in and then got an email saying to schedule my phone interview. So my phone interview was a week after that. Again, I'm gonna make a whole video on my phone interview because I feel like that would be a beneficial video, just talking about like tips specifically for the phone interview. My phone interview started out kind of in a rush. I was in my Western culture class. I did not plan that very well, but my phone interview was at 2. My class ended at 2 and she wouldn't let me leave until 10 minutes before, and they can call you up like 15 minutes before the time or 15 minutes after the time. So I didn't know when they were gonna call. If they called in class, that'd be awful because then I'd have to go outside and I'd be rushing around. I just really wanted to go to the library and get a study room. So as soon as I got to go out of class 10 minutes early, I ran to the library. I went upstairs and there was like no study rooms available, and so I had to go out on the porch of the library, and I was so nervous that it was gonna be like really loud and stuff. So she called me whenever I was in a study room, and then somebody came in to get the study room because it wasn't even mine, like I hadn't scheduled it or anything. So while I was on the phone, I had to like move rooms and like try not to get noise in it because oh my gosh, it was so nerve-wracking. It was like really stressful. But then once we like finally got to talking, it was really cool. She just like asked if it was a good time, just like verified information like you're Allie McAllister, you're sophomore at Liberty, blah blah blah, just like talking to me about like the basic information that I put down. She asked me why I wanted to do the Disney college program and like why it would benefit me in my major. Asked me what my major was, why I chose that major, what I wanted to do with it, what I felt like Disney could contribute to my career. I told her that I wanted to work for Disney long term. I think after that she was like, oh okay. So like it kind of I feel like it helped me a little bit saying that because it kind of showed that I was really dedicated to the company. But I think it's important to not act like you're obsessed with Disney and not be like Disney crazy, like oh my gosh, I wanted this opportunity so bad, I would work for you guys for free. Like don't act like you're too obsessed. I just showed her that I was passionate about Disney and like that's something that I wanted to do for a career. So then she asked me about different roles, and like it was a lot of like heat stuff. That's what like a lot of it was. It's like it's really hot, like are you okay with that? Like you'll be standing on your feet a lot, are you okay with that? Like so she was talking to me about like Cedar, for example, and she was just like, you would be standing up a lot, are you okay with that? Like she gave me like different scenarios. So like if a child did this in the restaurant, how would you handle it? Like if an adult said this to you, how would you handle it? Just different like confrontation, like conflict solution situations. And she also asked me a lot of questions about roommate situations, like saying you would have a roommate, how do you handle roommate conflict, have you had any before, you do to solve those roommate conflicts, for example. So we talked a little bit about that, and at the end they'll ask you if you have any questions. So I personally had questions that I wanted to ask her because I think that it also shows you're interested in it a little bit more, because it shows that you care enough about the interview and have prepared enough to like have questions already. So I asked her about which classes she would suggest if I got in to take at Disney, just based on my major, if she felt like I had time for it or not, and how networking opportunities, like how they worked and stuff like that, because that's a big thing that Disney has, is like networking opportunities to talk to different people in the company. I was like, who would you suggest that I talk to? We talked a little bit about that, and then she kind of briefly mentioned that she had done the college program, so I just asked her about hers and like her experience on it, and we talked about that for a good amount of time. We were just talking like back and forth about her college program, like her roles and how she liked it. I've heard that all the interviewers at Disney are just like really awesome. Mine was specifically just so cool and like super sweet, definitely really caring and like wanting me to do the best that I possibly could do, and like I want to write her like a thank you note or something, honestly, because she's so nice. That was that. And then about 3 weeks after that, it was like a waiting game because there was like a few waves that went out. So whenever there's like waves of acceptances, then they call it like waves, and so like you either catch that wave or you don't catch the wave or whatever. So I got in like 3 weeks after my phone interview, and I got, if you want to watch my video like getting accepted and like telling my family and stuff, I'll leave that video linked down below, and also my role reveal video. But I was just basically so excited that I got in. Few tips that I would say just about the process in general. I kind of talked about this on my I got rejected by Disney video that I made last year, but I think that one main thing that I said last year that I don't necessarily agree with now is I said don't go on the Facebook group during the application process, because the Facebook group last year was like really vicious and like mean and just like blatantly just, I don't know, they just like weren't very nice people during the application process. They would kind of like bring people down, but I think that they've cracked down on that a lot more this year on the Facebook group. So I would even say go on the Facebook group now. It's kind of just people that you can talk to whenever you're applying, people that you can relate to. You'll find people that are also in your same process of the application process. It's just like nice to have people that you can relate to about Disney. There's like 5,000 people in the Facebook group, something crazy like that. So they have like group me's. I've talked to different people that have my same arrival date. So after you get accepted, there's a few things that you have to do. So one of them is pick your arrival date. Mine is January 14th. My departure date is May 16th. You also have to pay the fees. It's like $350, and you have to accept your role. And so on the Facebook group, you can find like actual Facebook groups for your role. For me, there's like a Spring 2019 Cedar Facebook page, and like it's just really helpful to talk to people and be like, oh, like if you've done it before, what's your experience with it, and just like talk to different people about like your role, and that's really cool too. And then they have like a DCP Spring 2019 Christians group, which is really cool and encouraging. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited. That's basically the application process. I'm probably going to do a Q&A on it too, just because I know that there's probably people that have questions about specific things about the application process, so I'll do a video on that. But I hope that this video is helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already. I'm definitely going to make a video about the phone interview in particular, and just like specific tips that I have for that. So that's coming out soon. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!